Well, howdy everyone. We're in my grow closet here, and I want to talk about how to grow peppers indoors with hydroponics. And if you look at these, they're about 3 weeks old now, and if you watch the other video that I did, you'll know that this tomato plant here was tiny. It was only about maybe 2-3 inches tall, so it has grown. These peppers here, I've grown a lot of pepper plants, but I haven't done them hydroponically, and I've never seen leaves like these. They are really large, and I think that's a good sign. So I think I went over this, but I'm going to go over it again. We've got 5-gallon buckets here, and they're filled with coco coir. There are holes in the bottoms of the buckets so that they can drain. We've got an irrigation system here. This is top feed drip, and I actually, at this point, I only have 2 drip lines in each bucket. I could have up to 4, but so far they haven't really needed it. So I have the other ones plugged. This is a Floraflex manifold, and it's there's 2 types. One has the has regulators in there to regulate the flow, and this one is an open flow, and that's what you want. So you can see there's really nothing in there. The water goes in. There's a pump in this tote, and the water goes in. There's a pipe. I think you can see it. It tees off, and I have 2 of these here, and so that allows me to have 16 lines. And so also I use this green Floraflex tubing. It's really flexible, this Floraflex tubing. If you've ever tried to use the black tubing, it's really stiff and it's really hard to get it to go anywhere. Okay, so these plants are in 5-gallon buckets. They're sitting on a waffle grid here. I made this from old seed flats, and the reason for that is I want to keep the bottoms right off the floor of the flood tray, so that they can drain more freely. This is a 2x4 flood tray. Don't try and fit it in a 2x4 space, because it won't fit. It's 2x4 on the inside, and then you got to add a couple inches to each end. Anyway, these plants are being fed with Jack's 3-2-1, and that's actually a formula where you use their base nutrient, which is something like 5, 12, 34. It's really weird numbers, but you mix it with calcium nitrate and Epsom salts for magnesium, and that rounds it out. It gives it a good, I don't know what the final numbers are on it, but I know a lot of commercial greenhouses use it. It's inexpensive as nutrients go, and it works really, really well. So I think you can see that. So okay, so this is the base nutrients I'm using. It's Jack's, and it's 5, 12, 26, and yeah, it's good stuff. This is part A of the 3-2-1 mix. The other parts are calcium nitrate and Epsom salts. I don't know if you'll be able to read this label, but here's what's in it. But it's a good base, economical, it works really well, and that's what I'm using as my base nutrients. And like I said, then I add calcium nitrate to it, and the Epsom salts, which is magnesium sulfate, and that's the 3-2-1. You use 3 parts of the base, 2 parts of the calcium nitrate, and 1 part of the magnesium sulfate. And that's how I'm growing these plants. The key to growing peppers indoors is getting enough light to them. And that's really 90% of the battle. So I have this light here. This is an HLG 650R, and it's way up high. It's probably about 4 feet above these plants, and it's also partially turned down. This thing puts out a lot of light, and you can burn your plants. I mean, don't burn them like a high pressure sodium or metal halide would do, but you can get light burn all the same, and you don't want that. So for me, I have to limit my light. In your situation, you don't need a light that's powerful. As I've said before, I used to grow cannabis in this closet, but I gave it up, and I'm growing vegetables now. So this light is really high powered. It's also really expensive, and I'm not sure they make this exact model anymore anyway. But light is really, really important. And the other thing you'll notice, the walls are white. This is Panda film on the walls. It's basically black on one side, white on the other, and you put it white side out, and it's there to reflect the light back to the plants. The thing about growing in a closet is all the light is right there. It's not like having a light on in a room where it can, you know, escape and diffuse. So it's all right there. Okay, and then another important thing that you need to be aware of is you need some airflow. So I have a fan over here, and it runs along the wall. Then I have a fan here that's pointed towards the wall, and you can see, I think these leaves are gently moving, but they're not getting all beat up. You don't want a lot of air, you know, blowing on them really hard. It'll dry the leaves out and all that. So you need air circulation in here. It doesn't have to even be at the plants. You just need to have the air moving. It can even be above the plants. The other key thing that you need is exhaust fan. And this one here is hooked up to a carbon scrubber because, like I said, I used to grow cannabis in here. You don't need that, but you can see that this is moving. It's sucking air out, and you need to be able to remove the air. You want to get the heat and the humidity out, and this also, because it creates a suction, it pulls fresh air in, and you need fresh air. If you were to try and grow these plants in a closet without air circulation, they would use up all the CO2 in the air, and they would stop growing. So they need to have a fresh source of air coming in, and then you need to deal with getting the heat and the humidity out. So that's real important. Now, the thing about this system is it's totally automated. Irrigation is controlled by this little timer here, set for about 3 minutes on, and it runs probably every 3 hours or 4 hours, and then In addition to that, my lights are on a timer too. They run 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and this closet is totally automated. So all I really have to do is check the reservoir, and you can't see much in there, but you can see there's a line, and that's what brings the water in to the flood tray, and you can see the water is moving. I have a small pump in there. It recirculates the water so the nutrients stay mixed, and that's really about it. I have a 27-gallon tote for a reservoir, and it's getting down there now, and I've already filled it once. So these plants are drinking a fair amount, and I don't see any flowers on the tomato yet, but I expect to see some fairly soon. And the peppers, I don't know exactly when, but I think pretty soon they're going to start to flower. Haven't seen any signs of it yet. Well, that might be the start of a pepper right there. Down in there I can see. Can I get it? I don't know if you can see this, but there's little, they're not peppers yet, but they're going to be flowers, and they will be peppers. The thing in here, there's no bees, so you have to hand pollinate, and you can just do that by shaking the plant or by touching the flowers with your fingers and going from one to another. I don't always remember to do that, and I still get fruit set, but I'd probably get more if I was more meticulous about the pollination. Some people actually use an electric toothbrush to do it. That's what they, or something like that. You can use a little paintbrush, or you can just use your finger. So these look pretty good for 21 days. They were just little transplants when I set them in. They're growing really well. Things are going really well. I hope things are going well for you. And take good care of yourselves. I'll be back with more updates. Happy gardening, and keep it green. All right, I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.